Hello everyone, welcome back to our YouTube channel AgriAddict. Myself Ajay and Rosoy. I am currently pursuing my PhD in Agricultural Economics in Indian Agricultural Research Institute, New Delhi, and I am a 4th rank holder of ICAR PhD examination.
Myself, Anu Joshi. I'm currently pursuing PhD in Agricultural Extension Education from IARI-New Delhi, and I have secured 7th rank in ICAR SRF examination. And today we will be discussing 2024 ICAR JRF Social Science Examination paper.
So as you all know, we have 120 questions to complete. So in the first part, we will be completing the first 60 questions. And if you are really interested in our content, please comment below so that we will be moving to the next 60 questions in our next video. And coming to the examination pattern, more or less, we will be having 50-50 questions for economics and extension each, more or less 15 to 20 questions for general agriculture, as well as a few questions for statistics would be there. Coming to this examination, when it comes to agricultural economics, I personally felt like the questions was a little difficult, medium to hard difficulty I felt while I was solving the question paper. So what was about extension?
In extension, I must say this 2024 question paper is relatively easy. Easy means easy to moderate level, the hard level if you are analyzing, but majority of the questions comes in the easy level, which means even if you read it one time also, you will be able to write the most of the questions, except one or two questions other than. And also in the general pattern, if you are seeing, mostly the years or the memory based questions were asked more, and the analytical questions, they were relatively very easy, the statements and all. Once you are just read it one or two times, you can easily write. That kind of questions asked in the 2024 compared to the previous year question.
Okay, so we shall see how the questions would be for our students, right?
Yeah.
So we shall move to the first question. So yes,
first question is from extension. So this is from the portion communication. So communication and sociology are the two chapters from which most of the questions normally comes to JRF examination. So this question, we will see. There are two one statements. One is assertion and one is reason. So the assertion is the channels are the physical bridges between the sender and the receiver of the message. You know, we study the fundamental elements of the communication process, right? The source, the message, the channel, and the receiver, like that. So this portion talks about the channels. So channels are the physical bridges between the sender and the receiver of the message, which is the correct answer. And the reason for that, it is given. The dimensions of the channel are the one. First one is the mode of encoding and decoding the messages, which means in a channel, for example, if you are taking a television or any social media platform, how the messages are decoding or encoding in that comes as a dimension of the channel. And second one, as message act as a vehicle. Yeah, through channels, the messages carries the words or pictures or whatever to the audience, right? So message act as a vehicle there, and it act as a vehicle carrier. So the channel here, they act as a vehicle carrier which carries the message from one end to the other end. So we can say that assertion is correct and reason is also correct, and because of that, the reason gives the correct explanation for the assertion. So here the option A, both assertion and reason are correct, and R is the correct explanation of assertion. This is the correct question. Answer. Coming to the second question, this is actually a question from general agriculture portion, but still it comes in the schemes, standard schemes. Okay, so I think you might be familiar with the scheme, Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme, MGNREGA. It's a flagship rural development program of union government with several features. So they are asked to choose the correct combination of the statements. There are four statements given. Okay, the first statement, in phase 1, it was launched in 2006. 2000 most backward districts of the country in 2006. Okay, so this is the correct answer. It is launched in 200 most backward districts of the country. Okay, and second option, it is backed by the National Rural Employment Guarantee Act, which is passed by the government of India in 2005. That's also correct statement. After this act, as a result of this act, this scheme launched in 2006. Okay. Third one, it's fundamentally different from all other wage employment programs as it guarantees employment as a legal right. So under this scheme, if you are if you are an adult member of any household and if you are willing to work, so the government should provide you a minimum 100 days of employment. That's why they consider the person have the legal right to get employment. So that's make it different from the other wage employment schemes. Okay, so this statement is also correct. And the last one, more than 6.2 crore assets have been geotagged till February 2023 and made available to the public domain. So I think this might be the tricky question here, whether you will be, most of us may not be aware what is happening inside in depth of the schemes, right? So actually under this MJ Narega scheme, many things are happening, and one among that is geotagging the assets. The asset means if they are working, they might be constructing the roads or any water harvesting technologies, for example. So they all are considered as assets, and they are geotagged, means their coordinates will be located. Where is the asset? What is the value of that? And they will be coordinated. The coordinates will be located. So until 2023. So I think you might be needing the current year data. So until 2024, according to the government, 6.13 crores assets have been geotagged. As you can see, the numbers are very closely related, but they are not the same. So this answer is the wrong one. Okay, so as we can see, A, B and C are the correct and D is the wrong one. So the option here, I think it will come A, B and C. Option A. Okay.
So I think that was a moderate to difficult question with
Question,
respect to the scheme, right? So once we doesn't know about one of the statement, we will be getting a little confused as just one option is eliminated from here.
But still, I think A, B and C, if you are sure about the A, B and C, then I think only one option is there.
Directly go for the
okay.
right
Regarding the schemes, mostly they will be asking the years and all.
Yes.
But sometimes the statement kind of questions are coming.
Yes.
But try to understand whatever is possible to read, then it will be
Yes,
easy.
yes,
Okay.
yes. Okay. Coming to the next question. So the third question, which approach among the following four important approaches to define money identifies the money with a credit extended by a wide variety of sources? So this is actually a relatively new question. Many of you would not have been heard of this question or these approaches. So how these approaches best defines the money? That is the question. So they are asking where or which approach explains the money as it is extended by a wide variety of sources. So we need to look into what are all these approaches or how they are defining the money. So the first one is the fourth option, conventional approach. Conventional approach is nothing but the money which is printed by the bank as well as the demand deposits of the people in the bank. So that is nothing but the conventional approach. Then the central bank approach also we can define according to the terminology itself. So central bank approach is nothing but the money which is printed by the central bank of a country. In India, it is nothing but the Reserve Bank of India. So money is defined as the money printed from a central bank. That is nothing but the central bank approach. Then there is Chicago approach. So what is Chicago approach? According to Chicago approach, money is defined as 100% reserve money. It's nothing but like we have seen something that how the central bank of a country is printing the money. It is maybe equal to or maybe the proportional to the bank reserves that they are having, right? So here 100% reserve. So if the central bank is printing maybe $10 million or 10 million rupees, equal amount of deposits or equal amount of reserves should be there with the central bank of India, that is, or central bank of the country. That is nothing but the Chicago approach. And finally the Gourlay and Shaw approach, which is the answer for this question, wherein Gourlay and Shaw approach defines the money in such a way that it is not only considering the banking institution, it also considers the non-banking institutions such as insurance companies or mutual deposits or mutual fund deposits, such and such kind of things. So non-banking institutions are also included in this Gourlay and Shaw approach. So it defines money with the credit extended by a wide variety of resources or sources, not only just sticking to the banking institutions, but also with the respect to the non-banking institutions. So therefore answer A will be the correct answer for this question. Coming to the next question. Yes, again extension.
Okay, again extension. So this is also an assertion reason question. Okay, so we'll see. The first assertion is extension agents should aim to use a combination of different teaching methods rather than relying on a single method. Actually, in the previous years, the question comes, how it comes as, they will ask you which among the following extension method is suitable to all the condition, and then they will give four options. One, any of the extension methods can be group discussion or result demonstration, method demonstration, and as the fourth option they will give as none of the above. What we do is generally we will ignore the none of the above and think about among the other options, but actually it always says that no, none of the extension methods are suitable to all the situations, especially like we are saying that according to the situation only we have to choose which method we have to choose for the teaching. Okay, then the reason given is using a combination of methods ensures that information is presented in various ways leading to faster learning. So, as we are assessing the first assertion, the statement is correct because as I said before, we should use a mixture of extension methods to enhance their learning. And why we need to use, because their situation varies and their resources varies, the type of group we are targeting varies, everything varies. So if you are using different methods, so it will be easier for them to absorb more. See, here we are using a blackboard and I am telling you in a presenting mode. If we are talking in a discussion mode, so this different kind of approach will makes it easier for you to learn more. So this is a reason is also correct. So here the assertion is correct, the reason is correct, and reason is the correct explanation of assertion also. So here the answer is option A. Both A and R are correct, and R is the correct explanation.
Yes, coming to another question of match the following. So here, this is a simple question. It's a direct question. I think majority of you can answer it without even explanations. So these are some of the cooperative societies, that is cooperative better farming society, collective farming society, tenant farming society, and joint farming society. So there is a code. It's nothing but BJTC. Okay, it's better farming society, joint farming society, tenant farming society, as well as collective farming society. So how we can explain this better farming, joint farming, tenant farming, and collective farming? So it's actually defined based on how the ownership as well as how the operationship of the society is being carried out. Okay, so we shall see how the ownership and how the operationship is going on. Okay, so the first one is cooperative better farming society. In cooperative better farming society, as we know, the ownership as well as operationship will be individual, right? So both of this will be the ownership as well as operationship will be carried out by individuals only. Then the second one, that is cooperative joint farming society. What is the difference between better and joint farming society? Here the ownership will be individual, but the operationship would be collective. Okay, and coming to the third one, that is cooperative tenant farming society. In tenant farming society, as we know, they don't have their own possessions, so they will be just pooling, or they will be just going in group to have a particular area of land. So therefore the ownership will be collective and the operationship will be individual. And finally the collective farming. So in the collective farming, the ownership as well as the operationship will be collective. So according to the ownership and operationship, whether it is owned by individual or collective, whether it is operated individually or collectively, we can define this cooperative society as better farming society, joint farming society, tenant farming society, as well as collective farming society. So coming to the question, the first one is cooperative better farming society. So A can be connected with ownership individual, operationship also individual. So therefore A can be connected with the third option, right? Then B, the collective farming society. In cooperative collective farming society, as we have discussed, ownership as well as operationship is collectively by the done by collective. So therefore ownership as well as operationship is collective. So A to 3, B to 1, that is the only option here. So therefore A to 3, B to 1, C to 2, and D to 4. So therefore B will be the right answer. Yes, arrange the following. So there are many questions here in this question paper where you have to know at least on what range these schemes or some of the important occasions in the banking institutions or in the cooperative history has done in the recent past or in the history. So this is about some insurance schemes, and as you would be aware, in the Subhareddy textbook you can find how was the evolution of the insurance companies, or how was the crop insurance scheme was flourished in our history. So the first one is nothing but the pilot crop insurance scheme. This was actually started by General Insurance Company in 1973, and this was actually an experimental project for, I guess you would be knowing about the crop, that H4 variety of cotton. So the comprehensive crop insurance scheme has done in 1985. So this was actually an advancement of the pilot crop insurance scheme. Then again, the National Agriculture Insurance Scheme was established. It was during 1999. And finally, the Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana, it was in 2016. So the question is, arrange the following crop insurance schemes in India in their chronological order. It's nothing but A, B, C, D. So therefore answer A would be the correct. Coming to, yeah.
So coming to the question, this is also from communication. So in this question paper particularly, we can find a large number of questions coming from the communication chapter itself. But the thing is, all the questions are very direct and you can easily answer these questions just if you know the models. I think models is the important portion we study in communication, right? So here they asked the model of communication given by Rogers and Schumacher's. They have asked the model given by Rogers and Schumacher's that has following elements. Okay, so the elements which are given here are the source, message, channel, receiver, and the effect. So if you know the model, in the model of Rogers and Schumacher's, the sequence which we study, this is SMCRE, right? So if you can see, this is in the correct order they have given. Okay, so the source, message, channel, receiver, and with what effect. So how the message starts from the source and the message goes through the channel and it reaches the receiver and with what effect. So that is explained in the Rogers and Schumacher's model. Okay, so as you can see, the sequence of the elements is SMCRE, which is from A, B, C, D, and E. It's a direct question. Okay, so this is the answer for this. Okay, so coming to the question, there is an assertion and reason given. In the assertion, in an effective learning situation, the learner occupies the most important central position. Okay, so I think in the effective learning situation, the learner will be in the central position. Okay, and here, so what are the other elements in the learning situation? So there will be teacher and subject matter, and what are the teaching materials and what are the physical facilities available here. Okay, physical facilities. So as you can see in this model, which one occupies the central position? So that is the learner. Okay, so according to this, the first assertion is correct. And coming to the reason, the extension agent's efforts are directed towards creating learning situations that stimulate and guide the learning activity. So the generally what the extension agent or the teacher here do, that they create a situation which will stimulate and guide the learning activity so that the learner will be benefited at all, right? So that's why the learner is occupying the central position. Whatever the other things will be coordinated in order to focus on the learner. So the reason is also correct. So here both assertion and reason are correct and R is the correct explanation of assertion. Okay, so first is the option. Next question.
So the next question is, arrange the following banks as per the year of establishment in ascending order, that is from beginning to the latest. So we have not seen such a questions like this, because even though these institutions are very much important with respect to agricultural finance, these are a little difficult because like the span of evolution of these banks is actually beyond imagination, or like we can't remember it properly. So the Canara Bank is actually established during 1906. Okay, 1906. Then the Central Bank of India was established during 1911, and the Punjab National Bank was in 1894, and the Industrial Development Bank was established during 1964. So as many of these banks, like when we are studying the agricultural finance, there are nationalized bank, then there will be scheduled commercial banks. So as we are studying these banks for many other examples, it's really important, like we should know the evolution or when these banks have been also have been emerged in the history. So in making order, the Punjab National Bank is the earliest one. Then after that, so C comes first, then after that the Canara Bank, that is comes A, then after that Central Bank of India, B and D. So C, A, B, D, C will be the right answer. Coming to another match following, this is an easy question. So there are some of the books as well as some of the authors here. So the first one is An Inquiry into Nature and Causes of Wealth of Nations. This is the fundamental book that we are first studying in our when we are starting learning agriculture economics. It was written by none other than the father of economics, Adam Smith. So therefore A can be connected with second option. Then B, Principle of Economics, the second book that we are learning. It's nothing but written by the father of consumer behavior, we can tell, or those who have proposed the law of diminishing marginal utility, equimarginal utility, or cardinal utility approach, none other than Alfred Marshall. So therefore, B can be connected with the first option. B can be connected with the first option. Then the third one, general theory of employment, interest, and money. Soon after the Great Depression, which was happened during the period of 1929 to 1935, another important strategy or another important proposition for development of the countries has been contributed by none other than the father of macroeconomics by his book, that is the General Theory of Employment, Interest and Money, which was written by none other than J.M. Keynes. So therefore C can be connected with the fourth option, and the D is nothing but the theory of monopolistic competition. As we know, the monopolistic competition, several contributions have been done by the Chamberlain. So therefore D can be connected with the third option. So therefore 2143. 2143. C will be the correct answer here.
Okay, so this question, it seems to be a little big, but it's just simply it's asking what are the steps of extension teaching. Okay, so anyway, I will read the question. The extension teaching is a planned and deliberate act on the part of the extension agent. The extension agent has to move step by step in a scientific and logical way. So there are certain basic steps which are given by the Wilson and Gallup in 1955 to be followed in extension teaching. So they have given the steps, arrange the steps in logical order. So they're simply asking what are the steps of extension teaching given by Wilson and Gallup. So I think you all remember the short form of that, which is 8 CARs. Right, it's a very important one, which says attention, interest, desire, conviction, action, and satisfaction, which means when you first, if you are introducing any technology or something, you have to catch their attention, and then you have to generate interest among them and make it as a desire, make a desirable, favorable attitude for that, and then convince them to adopt that, and then take an action among them, and then get a satisfaction from that. So it's just the general teaching steps. Okay, so that is given. First one is A, I cast A, attention, and second and third is interest and desire, and third one is conviction, which is option D, and action and satisfaction, which is the last step. Okay, that is option A. So it will go as C, D, D and A. C, B, D, A, the option D. This is the answer. Okay. Next question. Which type of the leader command influence based on land, wealth, or inherited status? So there are 4 options given. One is autocratic leader, democratic, traditional, and emergent leader. So we will just see what are this type. So autocratic leader means it can be any type of leader whose action will be mainly central focused, which means he will be his approach will be much centralized, so that he will not take the consideration of the other people. Okay, so that leader, he's an autocratic leader, which means that all the decisions are made by himself. Okay, when it comes to democratic leader, it's the opposite of autocratic leader. So it's a collective decision of your leader who considers the opinions of all the other members. That can be called as a democratic leader. And when it comes to traditional leader means, say for example, if you're taking the head of a tribe, okay, in a particular village, so he is a traditional leader, maybe because of familial influence, maybe because of any land area in the villages and all, maybe the land and wealth, these are the influencing factors. So whoever having most land, or whoever having most wealth, or from parents or their parents, if they are leaders, automatically the next generation becomes leader. So these are called as traditional leaders. Okay, and the last one is emergent leader. This is not that much familiar name, but just think of a group. Okay, some interactions are going on, and as a result, as the time goes by, what some people among them are emerging as leaders in that. It's not by elected or nominated or something. Naturally, they are emerging as leaders. So they are called as emergent leaders. Okay, so here they are asked which is based on the land, wealth, or inherited status. So that is the answer is traditional leader. Okay, so option C is the answer here. Next question.
So who said that the lack of money is the root of all evils? When I saw this question, I was thinking like, okay, we have much very good definitions in our theory books, but they have not asked any of this. So we know what Robertson told about money, what Keynes told about macroeconomics and all. So this was actually a general question, and the lack of money is the root of all evils was actually used by George Bernard Shaw in his one of his play, in fact. So therefore, I think mostly this question would have been given by some of the general economics stream expert mostly. So therefore, the question answer for this question is George Bernard Shaw here. Then another one, yes, this is actually an important question. I think this is the only question which is asked from agricultural statistics when it comes to our exam, this paper. So the measurement of sampling error is usually called as, the options are significance level, confidence level, then precision of sampling plan, and validation of data. So it's really important to know what is actually the significance level and confidence level. So at least we would be able to eliminate the options and come to the correct answer. So the measurement of sampling error is usually called as. So there are two types of errors in statistics, that is type 1 error and type 2 error. You would be familiarized with it. Type 1 error is nothing but rejecting the null hypothesis when it is true, and type 2 error is accepting the null hypothesis when it is false. And I guess type 1 error is the most severe error when we are coming to the agricultural statistics. So what is the significance level? Significance level is nothing but the probability of committing the type 1 error. So it can be maybe 5%, or it can be maybe 1%, or even it can be even 10%. So this figure explains that when you are having a data backup of maybe 100 observations, maybe 5% or 10% would be the chances for committing the type 1 error would be 5% or 1%. So that can be considered as the significance level, and this is denoted by the letter alpha. Okay, and confidence interval is nothing but 1 minus alpha. So if we are having like, okay, if we know the value of this type 1 error, or the probability of committing type 1 error is 5%, then we can tell that the confidence interval is nothing but 95%. So it's nothing but when we are taking a sample, 95% of that sample will be having the characteristic feature, or the actual sample will be resembling the characteristic feature of that population. So 5% is the probability of committing an error while we are doing the sampling. So measurement of sampling error is not connected with the significance level or confidence interval here. So once we are understanding what is the significance level and confidence interval, it will be really easy to eliminate these two options. And measurement of sampling error is usually called as the precision of the sampling plan. Validation of the data is nothing but it's like the genuinity or the truthfulness of the data. So answer here will be eliminating it. We can understand that it's nothing but C. So precision of sampling plan will be the correct answer here. Coming to next statements, there are two statements from, yes, it's one is from agricultural finance and the second one is from macroeconomics. So you can say it from money and banking. So agricultural credit review committee of 1989 was set up by RBI under the chairmanship of A.M. Khusro. This is also known as Khusro Committee, which is actually a common statement which is asked in every examination. You would be knowing it. It's a direct statement questions from the agricultural finance, and A.M. Khusro Committee was also appointed for the validation of the regional rural banks. So this was actually constituted in 1989 and it was set up by RBI, and the head was A.M. Khusro. It was also known as Khusro Committee or Agricultural Credit Review Committee, which is a correct statement. So statement 1 is correct. And what is statement 2? Repo rate is the rate at which RBI borrows money from the banks. This is actually a wrong statement. If this was written as reverse repo rate, then the statement would have been correct. Reverse repo rate is the rate at which RBI borrows money from the banks. So what is repo rate? Repo rate is nothing but the rate at which banks borrow money from RBI. For short-term requirements or short-term needs, if RBI is lending some money to the banks or banks are borrowing money from the RBI, then that can be considered as a repo rate. So therefore statement 2 is wrong. So statement 1 is correct and statement 2 is wrong. So statement 1 is correct, statement 2 is incorrect. C will be the correct answer here.
Okay, coming to the next question. This is also an assertion reason. So as you can see, many of the extension questions are assertion reason type here. So assertion is audiovisual aids can only supplement the teacher but can never supplant him or her, which means that if you are a teacher, you can use an audiovisual aids as a supplement, but that audiovisual aid can never supplant or replace the actual teacher. So that's correct, right? So here I'm using a PowerPoint presentation, which I can use as a supplement to my teaching. But it can, if it is just showing, means it will be never be effective as one person standing here and talking, right? So the first assertion is correct. Coming to the reason, since audiovisual aids play an important role in the process of teaching learning, hence these may substitute and or replace the teacher in the classroom. Actually, this is the same statement which is given in the reverse way. So here it says that audiovisual aids are very important so that it may be able to replace the teacher. So that's, in the first statement we already told that this is a wrong statement. Okay, so the reason here is wrong and the assertion is correct. So here option A is correct, but R is not correct. So option C will be the answer.
Coming to the next question, according to the All India Debt and Indebtedness Survey 2019 report, what percentage of the cultivator households in rural areas were indebted as on 30th June of 2018? This was actually a part of NSSO, National Sample Survey Organization's report, and this is actually a factual figure, which is actually a little difficult to remember also, because there are many figures to by heart from the various published reports here. So the answer is 40.3%. So 40.3% of the cultivators households in the rural areas were indebted as on 30th June of 2018. So answer here is A. Then among the credit control instruments, which instrument is the rate at which central bank makes available financial accommodation to commercial banks by discounting government or other first class securities? So this is actually a direct question of or we can say that it's nothing but a direct definition of something which is given as the options. So the bank rate or discount rate, then cash reserve ratio is there, then open market operations are there, then cash deposit ratio is there. So the correct answer would be A, bank rate or discount rate. This is nothing but the rate at which the bank is giving long-term loans. Long-term loans, RBI is giving long-term loans to the banks without any securities, which can be considered as the bank rate or discount rate, or we can say it is nothing but the rate at which the central bank makes available financial accommodation to commercial banks by discounting government or other first class securities. Cash reserve ratio is nothing but actually the rate or the amount a bank has to be keep with RBI in order to lend some money to the public. So that is nothing but the cash reserve ratio. Then the open market operations are nothing but this is actually some monetary, and it's connected with the monetary policy, like how the Reserve Bank of India is selling their selling their securities or buying their securities in order to make some financial stability in the economy, in order to control the inflation as well as deflation. So open market operations are connected with it. So therefore, eliminating the other options, also we can arrive at that the option bank rate or discount rate would be the correct answer for this question.
So coming to the next question. So here it says, this is again an assertion reason question. So in the assertion it says, the adoption of practices may be relatively higher when more than 5 methods of extension techniques were used as compared to the single extension technique. So when we are dealing with the adoption process, we say that maybe at the initial stage, if the people are not at all aware about the technology, then what maybe we can use is like, I mean, any mass media methods that we can use. Okay, so but if the person is already aware about that, if they just need a persuasion for that, then we may make use of any persuasion techniques. Okay, so interpersonal methods can be used. So like that, many different types of methods if we are using, then it will be helpful for the increased rate of adoption. Okay, and the second statement is, single extension technique usually proves to be useless from adopter's point of view. But that is a wrong statement, because we don't know what will be the stage of the adopter there, right? So maybe if they are equal aware about that, and if they are willing to try a new technique and all, then maybe a single method will be useful for them. So we cannot generally say that it will be useless for that. It may be useful, but generally to a group of farmers, if we are telling the adoption of practices, the rate can be increased, may be increased if we are using a mixed methods. Okay, so here we can say the assertion is completely correct, but reason may not be always true. Okay, so here the answer A will be correct, but R is not correct. So this will be the answer.
Yes. Coming to a question from market structure, perfect competition, monopolistic competition, oligopoly and monopoly is given in the first side, and the second side, what is the number of firms as well as the nature of the product, which is a direct question here. So as you all know, in perfect competition, large number of buyers and sellers with homogeneous product will be there, or you can say more precisely, infinite number of sellers and buyers are there transacting a homogeneous product. So therefore, large number of firms, products are homogeneous is given as option 3. So therefore, A can be connected with 3. Then what is monopolistic competition? Monopolistic competition is actually the midway of perfect competition as monopoly, right? Monopoly plus perfect competition equals monopolistic competition. So what is the difference between monopolistic competition and perfect competition? In perfect competition, we have infinite number or very large number of buyers and sellers, but in monopolistic competition, we don't have that much, but still the number of buyers and sellers will be higher, which is not on par with perfect competition, but less than that of it. And in perfect competition and monopolistic competition, the number of buyers and sellers will be equal also. So therefore, we have large number of firms, but what is the difference? The products are differentiated here, right? The products are differentiated, and which will be having close substitutes. Like you will be having different phones, right? You will be having Samsung, you will be having iPhones, you will be having Xiaomi or Realme or whatever it is. But even if the basic facilities that they are giving is similar, they will be having their own unique feature, maybe in their phone build, or maybe in their battery capacity, or maybe in their camera facilities, right? So they will be trying to make their product a little unique than that of the other product, even though the basic features or the home facilities are uh, almost similar. They will be trying to make unique out of its product. So therefore, products are differentiated, but one will be a close substitute to the another. So therefore, monopolistic competition can be connected with the fourth option, D can be connected with the fourth option, and C is nothing but oligopoly. Oligo means nothing but a few. So therefore, a few firms are there. Products may be homogeneous or differentiated with close substitutes. What if the products are homogeneous there? We can call it as pure oligopoly. If the products are heterogeneous there, we can call it as differentiated oligopoly. And always remember that the common thing regarding uh, homogeneous as well as differentiated oligopoly is nothing but the firms will be a few, maybe 2 to 7 or 2 to 10 firms will be there in the market structure. So therefore, C can be connected with 1, and the D, monopoly, it's nothing but there is only one seller will be there and many buyers will be there. So therefore, one firm and unique product without close substitutes. In ideal monopoly situation, the cross elasticity will be equal to 0 because there is no other substitutes at all present here. But in the real world scenario, we cannot tell that there is pure monopoly exists. There is imperfect monopoly is there in the real markets, and we can say that the cross elasticity is much less in the case of real world scenario. Therefore, D can be connected with the second option. So therefore, A, B, C, D connected with 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. D will be the correct answer.
So coming to the next question. So this is also another question from communication portion itself. So it says that which of the following are the elements involved in the communication process? So as you can see, it's a very direct question. Just after looking at the options, you will be able to understand which is related to communication and which is not. So generally, we say the elements of communication as sender, message, and the receiver and all. But feedback is also considered as an element. But here, very from out of the box, they have put an option of budget also. So this will be the option which is not coming as an element of communication. Okay, so it's a very simple question. The option will be sender, message, and feedback, A, B, and C. Okay, so this is the answer.
Okay, so this is another question from general agriculture. Which of the following elements regulates the opening and closing of stomata? Which is actually a direct question. You would be knowing that potassium is actually regulating all the stomatal closing and opening activity. So therefore, the answer for this question, the element regulates the opening and closing of stomata, is nothing but potassium here. So answer B will be the correct here. Then
okay, so this question is about which method would be most suitable for reaching a large population in a relatively short period. So this is also an easy question. You will be able to answer very fastly. So it has given individual method, group method, mass method, and hybrid method. You know, individual method is for communication within face-to-face communication, which means to a very limited number of people. So that's about individual method. Whereas in group method, the number of people will be in moderate level. That much interpersonal connection like as an individual method is not possible, whereas to a very large number of people also it will not be applicable. So, okay, so mass methods, any mass methods like TV or any social media, these all are considered as mass method. And the basic idea of mass method is that you will be able to transfer a particular amount of information within a short period of time. Example, if you are telecasting a program in television, which means that to a million people it will reach at the same time. So that is the advantage of mass method. And hybrid method means a mixed group of methods. So here it's a very direct question. The mass methods will be used to reach to a large population within a very short period of time.
Yes. The coins are minted in mints owned by the government of India. So here there are 4 banks or 4 institutions which are situated in Mumbai, Hyderabad, Kolkata, Noida is given as in the options. So coins are minted in each and every options here. Okay, so the coins of India or government of India is minted by in Mumbai, Hyderabad, Kolkata, and Noida. So therefore, answer D will be the correct answer. All in all these areas or in all these places, there are minting set up by the government of India. So therefore, Mumbai, Hyderabad, Kolkata, and Noida, you can find the minting facilities. So option will be D, A, B, C, and D. Then coming to the next question, arrange the steps followed in the farm planning and budgeting from the beginning to the end. So if we are just imagining what is actually happening in these stages, it will be really easy to arrange these steps into in the ascending order. So identification of risks are there, then identification of enterprises to be included are there, then assessment of resources and endowments of the farm are there, and the statement of objective are there. And if you are familiarized with the program planning technique or the basic concepts of agricultural extension, you would be understanding that the first step that we will be doing is nothing but statement of objective, what we want to do, right? The planning should be done in the in the first phase, right? So therefore the statement of objective or what actually we want to accomplish will be in the fourth in the first stage, that is nothing but statement of objective. So this will be coming as the first step. Then what actually after that, so after statement of objective we are going to see what actually is the condition of the farm, right? So therefore assessment of the resources and endowments on the farm is the next step that we have to see. So in order to plan a in order to go for a realistic plan, we should understand that what actually we have, what actually we don't have, right? Until and unless we are not aware of what resources we are having, we cannot plan it properly, or maybe the plan would be maybe underrated or overrated, right? So therefore assessment of the resources resource endowments on the farm should we have enough water facilities, should we have enough electricity facilities, how far we can go for the alternative enterprises. So these all are coming under the assessment of resource endowment on the farm. So therefore this comes as the second step. Then after analyzing the resources, we can understand that which all are the enterprises that we can include, because according to the resources only we can include some alternative enterprises, right? So therefore identification of the enterprises which can be included according to the resource, maybe land, we will be having some land area, we'll be having some water bodies to incorporate some pisciculture setup or something, or we have a vertical space so that we can start a vertical garden, right? So according to the resource endowments, we will be identifying which are the enterprises that has to be included. So this will be the third one. And after that we should be understanding, okay, what all are the risks associated with it, okay, whether there is the chances of incidents, whether there are chances of pest, or whether there is some climatic aberrations would be affecting the uh, uh, enterprises that we are going to implement. So all of these things will be coming under the identification of the risks. So therefore it's totally in the upside direction, that is B, C, B, and A. B, C, B, A, C will be the correct answer here. Coming to the next question, yes, choice between production for the poor or production for the rich refers to. As such, you would not have been read in some of the textbook, but if you're just applying your logic, choice between production for the poor, what will be produced for the poor and what will be produced for the rich? Do you really think like in an enterprise combination, uh, fixing a product, who is actually producing, who is actually purchasing it, or who is actually the consumer of it, that will be affecting our production uh, planning and production decisions, right? So therefore if you are producing a luxurious item, you are not expecting a layman or a poor man to purchase it and use it, right? and for those things which are really cheap, you would not be finding, or you would not be expecting that a rich man would be purchasing it or using it, right? So therefore there can be categories of products which will be purchased by the rich and which will be purchased by the poor. So this is actually two set of categories, and that is actually the choice between the product that you are producing. So it's nothing but the question of what to produce. Okay, choice between production for the poor or production for the rich refers to what to produce, what commodity that you are producing will be the answer for this. And question for question number 26, C will be the correct answer.
So coming to the next question, the process of sharing information and knowledge between extension workers and farmers is called. What is the what the process is called as? Okay, so the options given are education, communication, technology transfer, and farming. So education, when you say education, which means that to bring about a desirable change in the behavior of the learner, right? So that is not a process of sharing to and fro information, right? So that is directly referring to the communication. Communication means the people, the two, if two people are there, which means they are after communicating, sharing their, after sharing their opinion or ideas, they are reaching to a commonness. So that is mean by communication. So here also they are mentioning that the process of sharing information and knowledge between the extension worker and farmers, so that they should reach to a common understanding, right? So communication will be the appropriate answer here. Here the third option is technology transfer. Technology transfer is mainly, we will refer from the extension agent to the farmer, right? So it's not a two-way process. So this is also not an answer, and farming is completely out of the area which is referring here. So communication will be the answer for this 27th question.
Coming to the next question, wage push inflation. Assertion is given as wage push inflation and profit push inflation are the two factors responsible for the cost push inflation. You would have heard of there are different types of inflation. So finally, we are studying two types of inflation, that is demand pull inflation and cost push inflation. So the cost push inflation is actually happening because of two major reasons, that is wage push inflation as well as profit push inflation. So what actually are these concepts? What is wage push inflation? When some labor protests are happening, what actually happens? They are demanding higher wages, but they are not hiring more labor for that, or their marginal productivity or the total production process which is happening through this labor is not at all increasing there. So therefore they are demanding higher wages, but the production is not increasing there. So as they are getting more wages without increasing the production, obviously the amount of money that the laborers are processing will be higher, and therefore it will be actually ending up in a level of inflation. That is nothing but the wage push inflation. So what is profit push inflation? When the company is setting a higher expectation or higher limit than that of the actual production process which is actually happening, so that is actually resulting in the profit push inflation. So therefore, wage push inflation and profit push inflation are the two factors responsible for the cost push inflation, which is the correct statement. So the assertion is correct. Then what is the reason? Wage push inflation takes place when higher wages are secured without a corresponding increase in the labor productivity. That is nothing but that we have just discussed right now, right? So in wage push inflation, a higher wages are secured. They will be protesting for a higher wage or for an increase in the wage, but there is no increase in the labor productivity. So therefore reason is also correct, and it explains the assertion. So therefore both assertion, reason are correct, and reason is the correct explanation of assertion. So answer A will be the correct answer. Coming to the next question, almost all states except which of the following enacted the laws for consolidation of the land holdings? So among these states, Punjab, Kerala, Tamil Nadu, and Uttar Pradesh, from the option itself, I think you can eliminate the options, because Punjab and Uttar Pradesh, there are much larger area, so that the consolidation was easy. But in the case of the southern states like Kerala and Tamil Nadu, there were many legal issues, there were many political issues regarding the consolidation of the land holdings. So therefore in Kerala as well as in Tamil Nadu, it was not that successful. So therefore B and C will be the correct answer. So therefore option B is the correct answer for this. Coming to the next question, the total expenditure made by the consumer on a normal good decreases with the increase in its price. Reason is the price elasticity of demand for the goods is elastic. I hope you all recollect the total expenditure method for analyzing the price elasticity. Just to recollect, we will be just going through those concepts. So imagine that you are having a commodity. So I mean, you are going to plan to purchase a commodity. So as the price of the commodity is increasing, your total expenditure, it's not about the price of the commodity, it's not about the income that you are having, it's the total budget that you are going to allocate for buying that particular commodity. Say it is 500 rupees. You are taking a 500 rupees from your income and fixing that you are going to purchase that commodity for 500 rupees, no matter what the price level is. Okay, so if you are finding the price is going to increase and still your expenditure is remaining at 500 rupees, that is your purchase plan has not shifted, then you can say that the elasticity of demand is equal to 1, or that commodity is unitary elastic, wherein we can say that the total expenditure is the same even after the increase or decrease in the price. Okay, and the second criteria, when the price of the commodity is increasing, if the total expenditure has been reduced, that is, we have seen that the price of the commodity has increased from 5 rupees to 10 rupees. Initially you were planning that you will be spending 500 rupees to purchase that product, but right now, as the result of the increase in the price of the commodity, you have decided that okay, I am not going to spend 500 rupees for this, I am just going to spend just 300 rupees or 250 rupees for this. So because of the reason of increase in the price, the total expenditure has been reduced, so that we can say that it is a normal good, or we can say that the commodity is elastic. Okay, so therefore the elasticity of demand would be greater than 1 for those commodities wherein if there is inverse relationship with the price of the commodity as well as the total expenditure that you are going to spend for the commodity. Then finally, what actually if the price as well as the total expenditure is in a direct relationship, that is, if the price is increased, the expenditure is also increasing. You have seen that okay, the price of the commodity has been increased from 500 rupees to 1000 rupees, but initially you were spending 500 rupees and right now you are spending 1000 rupees. Okay, there comes, you can say that those commodities are relatively inelastic. So therefore, if the price as well as the total expenditure is having a direct relationship, you can say that the elasticity of demand is less than 1. Okay, so coming to the first statement, that is assertion A, the total expenditure made by a consumer on a normal good decreases with the increase in the price. As we have seen, for the normal good, when the price is increasing, what actually happens? The total expenditure is getting decreased, right? That is only because the price elasticity of demand of the good is elastic, that is, elasticity of price is greater than that of 1. So therefore assertion A is correct, reason is correct, and the reason is the correct explanation of assertion. Therefore answer A would be the correct answer for this. Yes.
Coming to the next question, this is from rural sociology. Okay, so the question is, what does rural sociology primarily focus on? So in general, as we say in sociology, we study about the relations and interactions among the members of the society, right? So if the society, if it belongs to rural area, then we call it as rural sociology. And if it is in urban situation, the term changes. So actually all these options, if we are looking, first option is analyzing urban social dynamics. Second option is formulating principles of progress for urban societies. Third one, studying the social, economic, and cultural aspects of rural life. And the fourth one is investigating the political institutions in urban areas. Just looking at the options, you will be able to identify if in anywhere, if they are using the term urban, means it will not come to the rural sociology, right? So first option, analyzing the urban social dynamics. No, if you are analyzing rural social dynamics, then only it will comes in the rural sociology, right? Then second one, formulating principles of progress for urban society. Again, it is not coming under rural sociology. Third one, studying the social, economic, and cultural aspect of rural life. This is the only option where they are mentioning rural instead of urban. So this is like very direct question. Just after looking at the option, you will be able to understand. C, the option C will be the correct answer. Next one, a common barrier to communication in rural areas can be. This is also may not be directly coming in the textbook, but just with logical thinking, you will be able to understand. The first option is a clear and concise language. Giving a message in a clear and concise language is never a barrier, right? It's the enhancing factor. So this is not the option. And then second one, lack of access to technology, especially when it comes to rural communities. What might be the barriers? They may be having difficulty to access to any resources like money or internet or like that. Any technology might be lacking in the rural community. So this can be a barrier, right? And the third option, active participation of farmers. that is also not a barrier. When participation from the farmer side is increasing, which means that communication is also improving. And use of visual aids. Visual aids also will not be that much difficult in rural settings, like charts or graphs. If you are showing, it is not putting that much barrier in a rural setting as compared to the advanced technologies. So in this, the option will be the lack of access to technology, which is a very direct question. Okay, next question.
So again, a statement question is here. Statement 1, if the resources are not fully and efficiently utilized, then potential level of output will be less than that of the actual output. And the statement 2, production possibility curve refers to the minimum possible level of output attainable with the available resources. So here we want to understand what is actually the potential level of output and what is the actual level of output. Let me take you to the production possibility curve analysis. So as we remember, in a production possibility curve, this is actually a curve which signifies or which shows different possibilities of production of two commodities, say Y1 and Y2. Okay, so there are two products which you can be produced with the same amount of resources, right? And I hope you recollect the shape of the production possibility curve. It was actually a concave shaped curve towards the origin, right? So this is also known as ISO resource curve or production transformation curve or production possibility frontier or whatever. Like there are many synonyms for the production possibility curve or production possibility frontier. So from the point of A to point of B, the product is actually getting completely transformed. Y2 is completely transformed to Y1, and this is actually, say we have a resource of maybe 400 units. Okay, so at any point of this production possibility frontier, you can understand that the amount of resources is used will be constant. Okay, there is no change in the usage of the resources. That is, here we can say that the resources which is used will be constant, and we can say that the amount or the product bundle will be changing, or the proportion of y1 to y2 will be changing from when we are moving from the point A to the point B. So coming to another concept, that is what is the level of output attainable. Okay, the potential level of output and what is the actual level of output. How actually we are constructing this production possibility curve? We are assuming that whenever we are stating a law in the agricultural economics, we are telling a basic concept or basic idea, that the rationality criteria, right? So as I have told, we have 400 units of resources here, and we are assuming that this 400 units are efficiently utilized here. Okay, until and unless this 400 units are not efficiently utilized here, we cannot assure that the product bundle would be like this or these products. Okay, there are different combinations, like maybe C, D and E combinations are there. So we made assure that in all these combinations, just the proportion of y1 and y2 is getting changed, but we made assure that the equal amount of resource, that is 400 units of resources, are efficiently and completely utilized. Or else, in other words, we can say that there is no wasteful expenditure or there is no waste of the resources here. If those resources are underutilized, or if those resources are not at all properly or efficiently utilized, we can say that the actual output will be inside the production possibility curve, right? Maybe the point F will be a case where the production has actually happened. You can say that, okay, there is y1 and y2 is also produced here, but at that point of time, we can understand that the resources are not efficiently or completely utilized, or we can say that the resources are underutilized there. So what is the difference between the potential level of output as well as the actual level of output? Actual level of output is the actual criteria or the actual condition there, whether it doesn't care that whether the resources are fully utilized or underutilized. Okay, but at the same time, what is potential level of output? Potential level of output is the ideal level of output, wherein we are understanding that the resources are utilized completely, efficiently, properly, without any wastage we have used. So statement 1, if resources are not fully and efficiently utilized, the potential level of output will be less than that of the actual level of output. It's actually a wrong statement. Why? Because if the resources are not fully and efficiently utilized, the actual level of output, that is the point F, because here the actual level of output is only because it's less than that of the potential level of output, because all the combinations on the production possibility curve will be the potential level of output, because that is the ideal condition. Resources are utilized efficiently there, right? So therefore actual level of output will be less than that of the potential level of output when the resources are not efficiently utilized here. So therefore statement 1 is wrong here. And what is statement 2? Production possibility curve refers to the minimum possible level of output attained with the available resources. That is also another incorrect statement. Why? Because if it was maximum, right, we have told that the 400 units of the resources are utilized completely and properly, and that is the maximum that we can produce with respect to that 400 units. That is the maximum of y1 and y2 that we can produce. Beyond that we cannot produce, because if you are considering a product here Z, which is outside the production possibility curve, so since it is outside the production possibility curve, it is also actually showing a proportion of y1 and y2. But at that point of time we can understand that it is actually beyond our expectation. Why? Because this is requiring more resources than that of this 400 units. Maybe 700 or 800 units would have been needed to produce this type of combination, because it is outside the production possibility curve. So therefore production possibility curve refers to the maximum possible level of output attainable with the available resources. So therefore statement 1 and statement 2 are incorrect. So therefore both statement 1 and 2 are incorrect. So B will be the correct answer here. Coming to the next question, again an assertion written question. Assertion: according to Keynes, an individual's aggregate demand to hold money is composed of transaction demand, precautionary demand, and speculative demand, which is a direct statement, right? According to Keynes, the demand for money is consisting of three types of demand. That is transaction demand, that is nothing but the demand for money to buy or sell the things. That is nothing but the transaction demand. Then what is precautionary demand? For some unforeseen maybe for your future education, or maybe for some unforeseen risks like your health issues and all, you would be having some money to, you will be holding your money, right? That is nothing but the precautionary demand. What is speculative demand? Speculative demand is nothing but you are planning to buy some gold in a lower price, and you are trying to gamble with it, right? You are calculating the price that it will be going up in the next 5 years, so therefore you will be selling the gold after 5 years. So a portion of money will be stored for doing the speculative businesses, or maybe some profit driven things also. So therefore the demand for money can be considered as transaction demand, precautionary demand, and speculative demand according to J.M. Keynes, and assertion A is correct. Then what is the reason? The speculative demand for money is a direct and positive function of the level of money income. In fact, that is a wrong statement. Why? Because speculative demand for money is actually a function of the rate of interest, not the level of income. So as the rate of interest increases, the amount of money that he is holding would be lesser. If the rate of interest is much less, he will be holding more money. So the speculative demand for money is not the direct and positive function of the money income. It is actually a function of rate of interest. So therefore reason is wrong. So therefore we can say that assertion is correct, but the reason is not correct. So option C will be the correct answer here.
Coming to the next question. So this question is from communication. So here they are asking about the different types of networks, and what is the in the other box they are given the amount of member satisfaction, and also which one is will be useful for collective decision making. It's a match the following. Okay, so it's about networks. Networks means suppose in an organization different members will be there, and always they will be communicating in a particular way. So the pathway of the communication, that is called as a network. Okay, so first one is star network. Star network means there will be different members, and most of them will be interacting with each and everyone. Okay, so here the member to member connection will be more. Okay, so since there are many member interaction with each and every member, it makes the member satisfaction in the highest level. So the star network gives the greatest amount of satisfaction. Okay, when it comes to wheel network is like there will be a central person, and the other members will be distributed around the central member, and all the information will be passing through the central member only. Okay, so which means that the communication will be faster, but the problem is the other members are not connected with each other. So here the members will have the least amount of satisfaction. Okay, So the wheel network will give the least amount of satisfaction here. Come to the chain network. Network means the information will be passing from one after the another in a sequential manner. Okay, so if suppose these are the members, then from a person, the information will pass to this second one and to the third one and to the fourth one, like one after another in a sequential manner. If it is going means it is called a chain network, and so because of that it gives a moderate level of satisfaction. Okay, so it's not the greatest amount as in the star network or the least as in case of the wheel network. So that's why, so the option C can be considered with the third option, which is moderate satisfaction. Okay, coming to the last option, which is the circle network. Circle network means each and every member in a group will be communicated with the immediate neighbors members. They are not all communicated with each other, but they will be communicating with the nearest member of them. Okay, so what happens means through this way they all are connected in a way, and the information will be circling among all the members. Okay, so this network will be useful to make a collective decision, which means everyone is related and they will be able to each member will be able to communicate with the nearest member also. So this network, circle network, is considered as giving greater contribution to a collective decision making, which is D is 4. So the option here will be A1, B2, C3 and D4, option B. Okay. Next question. According to Everett Rogers, arrange the various stages for converting research into practice. This also I think you may not be reading in the textbooks, but this is easy. Since it comes the name of Rogers, I think you can be able to understand from which chapter you can relate it to. The diffusion of innovation, that chapter you can relate to this. Okay, I think you remember the AIETA adoption process, or KPDIC, that adoption decision process, anything. So here basically it says that the awareness, interest, evaluation, training and adoption. Okay, so that chain you can apply to here also. So the first, the research awareness, and then after that the research evaluation, and then put it into a trial, and then finally into real practice. Okay, so first make it as the awareness level, and then put it in the evaluation stage, then evaluate the research whichever you are giving, and then do in a trial. Okay, trial means in a smaller scale, do it a practice, and then after, if it is successful, then put it into a practice, which means in a larger scale. So this will be the option D, A, C and B. Okay, D, A, C and B. Option A will be the answer for this.
Again, another general question here. 3 largest gram producing states of India in 2021-22 were. So it's really important that just go through the recent production status of the major crops. And here for gram producing states, it's actually, I don't know, like at least you should by heart the top 3 states which is producing the major crops like rice, wheat, sugarcane and pulses. So according to the data of 2021-22, the largest gram producing states were, the first one was Rajasthan, second one was Madhya Pradesh, and third one was Maharashtra. So therefore A, B, C, option A will be the correct answer here. Coming to another statement question, statement 1 and 2, it's from entomology. Red cotton bug can be controlled by applying insecticide in soil. Second statement, red cotton bug lays eggs in the soil. So when it comes to red cotton bug, they lay egg in the soil, but controlling that is not through controlling by application of insecticide in the soil. The actual practice which is followed is nothing but just plow the soil very much better, and the eggs should be exposed to the sunlight so that it will be getting killed, and it's not by applying insecticides in the soil. So therefore statement 1 is a wrong answer, and the second one is red cotton bug lays eggs in or on the soil. So second statement is correct, and so therefore statement 1 is incorrect and statement 2 is correct. So therefore yes, D will be the correct answer. So statement 1 is incorrect. It can be controlled only by digging up the soil, so therefore the eggs will be exposed to the sun, so that only we can control the eggs which is laid in the soil. It's not through application of the insecticides in the soil.
This is a question which is more or less similar to the question which we discussed before. They asked the barriers to communication in rural area, which all the options can be there. Okay, the first one is lack of access to technology. As we discussed before, to different technologies, can be internet or any facilities, can be a barrier. And the second one is use of complex scientific jargons. So when you go to a rural village and if you are explaining any practices to them, jargon means any specific technical term used by the experts. Okay, if you are using the specific term in with that level of complexity, the rural people may be unable to understand that. So this is also can be considered as a barrier. Third one, active participation of farmers. It's not at all a barrier, as I said before. And focus on visuals. This is also not a barrier. So the option, the barriers to communication will be option A and B. This is an easy question.
Another statement question. The income generated through self-liquidating loans is sufficient to clear off the entire loan amount in the same accounting year. Statement 2, the net income and net operating income can be calculated from the balance sheet. So this is actually from a simple question from the agricultural finance, but the conceptual clarity is required here, right? So what is actually a self-liquidating loan and what is actually a non-self-liquidating loan? Self-liquidating loan is nothing but for what purpose actually a loan has been given. That purpose itself will be showing the way to pay back the loan. That is nothing but a self-liquidating loan. Imagine that the farmer has got a loan of maybe 50,000 rupees for a particular purpose. If he is spending that 50,000 rupees for that particular purpose, and from that purpose he is generating maybe 70,000 rupees, and out of that he is getting 20,000 rupees profit, and the 50,000 rupees has been sent back to the bank or repaid it, that can be considered as a self-liquidating loan. Then there is partially liquidating loan or non-liquidating loan, a non-self-liquidating loan. What it is actually? There can be instances that from the purpose for which the loan has been availed or for the purpose for which the loan has been sanctioned, that single purpose cannot be able to produce the complete repayment for that loan, then that can be considered as partially liquidating loan. If we are going to see some examples, it would be much clear for you. Imagine that there are loans can be classified into short-term loans, medium-term loans, as well as long-term loans according to the repayment period, right? Repayment period. So therefore, the short-term loans are actually given for 6 months to 15 months, or we can say 6 months to 1.5 years. So they will be given this loan for the annual cultivation, annual crop cultivation. So soon after the harvest, the produce will be sent back to the market, the returns will be generated, and from that return, the entire loan will be repaid back, right? So the short period loan can be considered as a self-liquidating loan. But in the case of medium term loan or a long term loan, it will be given for maybe for 5 years or 10 years or 15 years, maybe for purposes like establishment of a coconut orchard, or maybe construction of a building or something like that. So you cannot expect that the 10 lakh rupees or 15 lakh rupees which is given for constructing a building would be repaid by maybe 2 years or 3 years, or will be generated through the entire production process which has been started during the production program in using that building, right? So you may have to go for some other sources of income in order to pay back it. So a part of the in a loan will be repaid by using that purpose for which the loan is availed, but at the same point of time it may not be completely generated back from that exclusively from that purpose, right? So therefore, income generated through self-liquidating loans is sufficient to clear off the entire loan amount in the same accounting year is a correct answer, which is actually in terms of crop loans or short-term loans. So statement 1 is correct. And what is statement 2 here? Net income and net operating income can be calculated from the balance sheet. So what was actually the components of balance sheet? You can say there are assets are there, then there are liabilities are there, right? So we will from the balance sheet, net income and net operating income you cannot be calculating, right? Why? Because the income, expenses, everything will be written in another statement, that is nothing but the profit and loss statement. So if this statement would have been reframed as net income and net operating income can be calculated from the profit and loss statement, this would have been a correct statement. So therefore, statement 1 is correct and statement 2 is incorrect. So therefore, option C will be the correct answer here. Statement 1 is correct and statement 2 is incorrect. Yes, another general agricultural question. Statement 1. Most typical tropical crops are short day plants, while those of higher latitudes are generally long day plants. As you know, there are different agronomic horticultural classifications are there. So here the crops can be classified into short term, short day plants as well as long day plants, right? And what happens in the tropical region? Tropical region is nothing but the area which is near to the equator, right? So therefore the day length will be much lesser and the dark period will be much higher. So therefore the plants will be adapted to there, which will be having more or less the short day plants, right? Then what about the higher latitudes? Happening in the higher latitudes, there will be the time period of the light will be much higher, especially during the summer days. So therefore the plants will be adapted to the long light hours. So therefore plants those of higher latitudes are generally longer plants. So therefore logically this is correct. So statement 1 is correct. And what is statement 2? Duration of night or complete darkness is more important than the length of the day, which is needing much more molecular explanations and all. But still we know that even though in between if we are flashing some lights during the dark hours, it will be affecting the crop growth or the molecular activities, right? So therefore the time period of darkness is much important than that of the daytime when it comes to the plant. So therefore statement 2 is correct. So therefore statement 1 2 are correct. So both a statement 1 2 are correct. A will be the correct answer for this question. So next one is another general agriculture question. So there are some radiometer or equipments are here, and how actually it is where it is used, for what purpose it is used. So there is a place spectral radiometer, hip radiometer, iradiometer, and spectrophotometer. So when we are matching about it, a spectral photometer can be connected with the photosynthetically active radiation. So A can be connected with 2, and there is a KIP radiometer which is actually used for detecting the diffused radiation. So therefore B can be connected with 4. Then pi radiometer, short wave and long wave radiation. So C can be connected with 1. Finally, the spectrophotometer, we all know, like we would have used it while we are working with the social science laboratories and all. So therefore this spectrophotometer will be connected with the wavelength of the light. So therefore A can be connected with 2, B will be connected with 4, 2, 4, 1 and 3, right? So therefore B will be the correct answer. Coming to another match the following question from agricultural finance: single window system, differential rate of interest scheme, lead bank scheme, and regional rural banks, and which are the committees which were actually proposing or constituted all these cooperative institutions. So this is a simple question. So single window system was recommended by none other than the Mohan Kanda committee. So A can be connected with 4. Then differential rate of interest scheme. So this differential rate of interest scheme, according to differential rate of interest scheme, in a subsidized rate of 4%, the loan was given for the marginalized and small category of people. So therefore B can be connected with the Hazare committee, BK Hazare committee. So B is connected with 3. Then C is lead bank scheme, and the D is the regional rural bank scheme. So lead bank scheme was established during 1969, which was recommended by Nariman committee, FKF Nariman committee. So C can be connected with 1. Regional rural banks has been constituted in 1975, and this was upon the recommendation of M. Narasimham committee. So therefore D can be connected with the second option. So A4, B3, C1 and D2, 4312. 4312D will be the correct answer here. Another question: who is known as the father of Indian economic reforms? So whenever you are coming to notice that there is a word Indian economic reforms, you should remember the LPG, right? It's nothing but liberalization, privatization, and globalization, which was actually done in 1990 to 1991. Okay, and at that point of time, this economic reforms was actually proposed by the then finance minister of India, none other than Dr. Manmohan Singh. So therefore father of Indian economic reforms are none other than Dr. Manmohan Singh. So option A will be the correct answer here.
Coming to the next question. So this is based on the years of this project. Okay. So to arrange the following projects in the correct order of their start year from the earliest to the latest. Okay. So the first one is operational research project and national demonstration project, lab to land program, and Itava pilot project. So if you are seeing at the options, you will be able to understand the first 3 options. These are the first line transfer of technology projects by ICAR. So if you are taking the general extension system in India, you can find 2 types. Okay, first one is field extension system, and second one is frontline extension system. Okay, in field extension system, it deals generally with the dissemination to a large number of farmers in the country, which means that the technologies will be disseminated to the large number of Indian farmers in the nationwide. Okay, so that is the field level extension system, which is mainly conducted by the Department of Agriculture and developmental agencies like that. When it comes to the frontline agricultural extension system, this is related with the technology dissemination and demonstration by the newer technologies like that. So, and it will be performed by the ICAR and state agriculture universities like that. So, mainly there are 4 projects. First one is National Demonstration Project, or we say AICPND, All India Coordinated Project on National Demonstration, which is started in 1964. Okay, 1964. And second one is Operational Research Project, or ORP. ORP started in 1974. And third one is Lab to Land program. Lab to Land program started in 1979, and other one is KVK. So these are the 4 transfer of technology program. Okay, operational research project means the farmers, to show the farmers the true potentiality of a new variety or a new technology, we use the operational research project. Okay, it says that if the scientists or the researchers if they cannot explain the technology, means the farmers will be unable to adopt it. Okay, so that is operational research project. When it's come to national, sorry, that was related to national demonstration project, which is in the first one. So in the operational research project, a specific area will be selected, and on a watershed basis, and then the technology will be demonstrated to the farmers. Okay, operational research project, which is in 1974. Okay, and the Lab to Land program, which is launched as a part of the Golden Jubilee celebration of ICAR. Okay, in 1979. Okay, 1979. So it will be for in that the farmers, small and marginal farmers, and also the agricultural laborers were adopted by the ICR, and then the technology demonstration were focusing on them, which means the research institute, the lab, whatever results in the lab should reach the land. With that aim, the Lab to Land program was initiated in 1974, and another one is Itawa pilot project, and it's the early extension efforts. Okay, post-independence extension effort, which started in 1948. Okay, so the option, it asks from the earliest to the latest, right? So the first one will be 1964 National Demonstration Project, which is option B. Sorry, first one will be Itawa pilot project, which is the just after independence, which is option D. And after that, the National Demonstration Project, which is option B. And then the Operational Research Project in 1974 as option A. And the last one, Lab to Land program in 1979. So DBAC option B will be the answer for this.
Coming to the next question, arrange the national product or income estimates in the sequence that they are calculated. So this is nothing from this is a question from the macroeconomics, and that too from the national income level calculation. So we have options like disposable personal income, national income, gross national product, as well as personal income. So we have studied the gross national product or gross national income in the first part. So this will be the starting point, right? The gross national product is nothing but the total value of goods and services which was produced from an entire year from the particular country. That is nothing but the gross national product. So gross national product is the starting point from which we are starting all our calculations, right? So therefore C will be the first option. So from that itself you can understand that okay, you can eliminate the options and you can directly go for option D. Then how we are arriving at all the other national income estimates? So after gross national income, we have scopes to convert this into gross domestic product or net national product or net domestic product, right? So what was national income? National income is defined as or it is a synonym of the net national product at factor cost, right? So as such, if we are writing gross national product, it's nothing but the gross national product at market price. So in order to convert the market price to factor cost, we have to reduce deduct the depreciation. So from gross national income, if we are deducting the depreciation, we are arriving at the gross national product at factor cost. Then in order to convert that to net national product, we have to deduct the net indirect tax, or we can say that minus indirect tax plus subsidies. So we will be arriving at the national income, or we can say that net national product at factor cost. So this is the next estimate that we are arriving at. So therefore, after C, we will be calculating the national income. Then after that, if we are deducting the social security contributions, then the undistributed corporate profits and profit taxes, we will be arriving at the personal income. So personal income is nothing but national income deducted, from the national income we will be deducting three major factors, that is social security contributions, undistributed corporate profits, and profit income taxes. These will be deducted from the national income and we will be arriving at the personal income. So therefore, after arriving at national income, we will be calculating the personal income. But the calculation is not over yet. So after personal income, when we are deducting the personal taxes from the personal income, we will be coming at the disposable income or disposable personal income. So sorry. So this is the final estimate, that is deducting the personal taxes from the personal income, we will be arriving at the disposable income. So if you are thorough with the textbook, this is the order at which actually all these estimates are given in the textbook. So therefore, C, B, D, and A will be the correct answer here.
Okay, next question is about e-chapel. Okay, the important feature of e-chapel, which among the following? Okay, face-to-face communication, crop-specific internet resources, field trip, and coffee cafe. So these are the options given. So what is e-chapel? E-chapel is an innovative ICT initiative, means Information Communication Technology Initiative by the ITC, India Tobacco Company. Okay, so it's it started in 2000 actually. So ITC has started a new internet kiosk in villages. So basically, e-chapel has launched to create a direct connection from the farmers to the technologies as well as to the market. So through the internet kiosk, the farmers will be able to get technologies about to the information regarding the technologies, the weather, the market, or the practices, or the pest and diseases, everything through the internet directly. So which means that actually through the use of this internet kiosk, they were able to improve the performance of the farmers as well as able to reduce the middleman influence and all. So this program was a very successful program at that time. So it is considered as one of the very pioneer initiatives of ITC, and in the ICT segment of India, this e-chapel program is very important. Okay, so what are the important features? Face-to-face communication is not a feature because it's through internet kiosk, which means the impersonal communication only is happening there. They are not going to each and every farmers and not giving the advice. So face-to-face communication is not happening. Second one is crop specific internet resource. So this is actually the purpose of the e-chapel, which means for each and some crops like soybean, wheat and all were coming under the ICT e-chapel program. So regarding the crop, what cultivation practices to do and what will be the pest and diseases affecting, these all information were given to the farmers through internet. Okay, and next one is field trip also not coming because whatever direct measures which is given to the farmers or direct contact methods are not followed in this one. It's a ICT initiative. Okay, and coffee cafes are also not coming. So the only option coming as the e-chapel is crop specific internet resources. Okay, which is option D.
Coming to another sending order question, right? So put the following committees or commissions or policies related to the land reforms in chronological order. So land reforms is actually these years there are many questions, like particularly from the land reforms committee. Maybe the questions there will be from zamindar system, mahalwari system, rayatwari system, or maybe the major land reforms that used to happen in the history. So they have much particular liking to this historical part. So there are four committees or reforms, that is Central Land Reforms Committee, then the Congress Agrarian Reform Committee, or it is also known as Kumarappa Committee, National Agricultural Policy, and National Commission on Agriculture. So you would have, like, even if you are not familiar with all these things, you would have knowing that the first committee or the first initiative which was put forward regarding the land reforms was from Kumarappa Committee, right? So therefore, the first will be Congress Agrarian Reform Committee, and this was actually constituted in 1949. Okay, then after that, the Central Land Reforms Committee has been developed, and that was in 1955. And there is National Agriculture Policy and National Commission on Agriculture. You would have been heard of this National Commission on Agriculture multiple times in the economics as well as in extension. That was constituted in 1976, and the National Agriculture Policy is the recent one, which is actually constituted in 2000. So therefore, we can say that B comes first, that is Kumarappa Committee. Then after that, the Central Land Reforms Committee A. Then after that, the National Commission on Agriculture D. And then after that, the National Agriculture Policy, that is C. So B, A, D, C, C will be the correct answer.
Next question, it's the assertion and reason type. So the assertion is monitoring in extension programs involves routine collection of information. So what is monitoring? Monitoring is like a systematic regular collection of data information regarding a particular project and often analysis of that. Okay, so according to that, the monitoring in extension program involves routine collection of information. That is correct answer. So the name itself is monitoring, like, so you are monitoring in regular intervals in a regular systematic way. So that is the monitoring. And the reason, monitoring helps in tracking the project implementation progress and measuring the efficiency. So what happens when you're systematically collecting the data or the information from a particular program in a regular period of interval of time? So it will help you to track the project implementation progress, right? So what is happening in the real time assessment, that can be understood by monitoring. And also measuring the efficiency, whether the at a particular point of time, whether the resources are enough, whether the actions are properly conducting or not. So these kind of information you will get from the monitoring. So what we can say from the assertion A, the monitoring involves routine collection of information, which is correct. And monitoring will help in the tracking of project implementation and measuring the efficiency. So this reason is also correct. So here we can say both A and R are correct, and R is the correct explanation of A. So option A is the correct answer.
So which one of the following statement defines the Say's law of market? So this is actually, maybe while you are preparing, this would have been the easiest law to study by heart, right? So this is actually a direct question, it's a direct statement question. Say's law is nothing but supply creates its own demand. Even though the definition is very, very simple, the implication of this definition is very powerful in order to develop the classical macroeconomic theory. So therefore, it's a direct question. So Say's law is nothing but supply creates its own demand. So answer A is the correct answer here. Then coming to the another match the following question: the self-liquidating loan, unsecured loan, chattel loan, and key loan. So one of the previous questions has given what actually the self-liquidating loan is, right? Self-liquidating loan is nothing but some loans for which the purpose itself will be serving the reason for the repayment, right? So therefore, loan from which income generated help the farmer to repay the entire loan amount in the same season or the accounting year is nothing but the self-liquidating loans. So therefore, A can be connected with the third option. Then the second one is, what is unsecured loan? There are two types of loans, that is secured loan and unsecured loan. In unsecured loan, we can say that the bank will be having some collateral in respect for the security, right? Or they will be collecting a security. If I want to get some loan, I have to give some gold, or I may have to give some income certificate or something like that. So if I'm becoming a defaulter, or if I am not able to pay the money back, obviously the bank will be having a security in order to get back the money, right? So therefore, that is nothing but the secured loan. So what will be unsecured loan? No collateral will be there, right? So it's actually given like a with a mutual trust. So therefore, B can be connected to the first option, that is loan extended based on the confidence between the borrower and lender. So this is exclusively based on the trust or the belief that okay, at one point of time they will be repaying back the money without even taking any collaterals. So therefore, B can be connected with the option 1, that is loan extended based on the confidence between the borrower and the lender. Then there is chattel loan and there is key loan. What is chattel loan? In chattel loan, actually a movable property is actually given. You would have been studied as in the definition that loan offered by the pawnbrokers and all, right? So therefore, specific type of loan advanced against movable property can be considered as the chattel loan. So therefore C can be connected with the fourth one is key loan. So key loan is connected with the hypothecation. So you would have studied two types of loans under hypothecation, that is open loan and key loan. So key loan is nothing but the loan advanced against the produce kept under the control of the lending institution. So the produce will be with the lending institution, but you will be getting the loan. But what was happening during the open loan? In the open loan, you can say that the produce will be with the produce, as well as the operationship will be with the cultivator or the people who have taken the loan itself. Example, if one have taken the tractor, or if he have brought the tractor because of the loan money, if banks actually kept tractor with them, then the production process will not happen, right? Such a loan can be considered as the open loan. But when it comes to the key loans, crop produces, those which is harvested, everything will be under the possession of the bank, and until and unless the loan is not repaid, those will not be paid back to the borrower. So that is nothing but the key loan. So D can be connected with the second option. So 3, 1, 4, 2. A will be the correct answer here. Coming to another general agriculture question, there are some of the insecticides which are given and in which group they are falling. So acetamiprid, cypermethrin, chlorpyrifos, and lindane. So easy question, chlorpyrifos can be connected with the organophosphate. So C is connected with the fourth option, which is the only option here. So A, acetamiprid, it's nothing but a neonicotinoid. Then cypermethrin is nothing but a synthetic pyrethroid. Chlorpyrifos is an organic phosphate, and lindane is a chlorinated hydrocarbon. So this is an easy question, and option B is the correct answer for this. Yes.
Okay, so these are some of the farm publications. Okay, so this is coming from the chapter farm journalism. So here they have given different publications and the publishing date. So these are the very initial publications in the field of agriculture. Okay, so the one is Krishi Sudhar, Sevagram, and Krishi Jagat. So as you first time, if you are looking at the options, you will be confused with the Sevagram, right? So this is a project that we have studied, how it is coming in the farm journalism that you may think. So Krishi, if you are seeing this, Krishi Sudhar is the first Hindi farm publication, farm journal. Okay, published. Krishi Sudhar started in 1914. Okay, Krishi Sudhar. So B comes to 1. And Krishi Sudhar published in 1914 from Agra. It's the first Hindi journal published in the in agriculture. Okay. Then second one is Krishi. Krishi is published in 1918, just after Krishi Sudhar. The Krishi is also another farm publication published in 1918. So A can be related with the second option. And coming to the just let it be there, Sevagram. And the last one is Krishi Jagat. Krishi Jagat, you know, this is the first Hindi weekly journal. Okay, first Hindi weekly journal that is published in 1946. So D can be related with the third option. So these are the farm publications that we generally study. Okay, so even if you know these three options also, you will be able to write. So Sevagram, the project as it started in 1921. So that is not related with this. Actually, it's a very distant relation. So in the Sevagram, you might be remembering the term Nai Talim, right? Regarding the new education, right there. So regarding the Nai Talim, there was a publication which is published in 1953. So that is the connection here in the given in this option. So it's known as the story of Nai Talim. So that particular article about the Nai Talim in the Sevagram project was published in 1953. That is given in the option. So only this one might be a little confusing for you. Other than that, so the option C will be related to the fourth option. Okay. So other than that, if you know all the other three journals, you will be able to write. Okay. So option A will be related to B to 1, C to 4, and D to 3. Option A is the correct answer.
Another agricultural question, total fish production in India in 2020-21, another factual question. So it's nothing but 162.48 lakh tons. So this is actually comes under the general agriculture, or we can say the current agricultural scenario. So factual question, C will be the correct answer here.
Next question. what principle emphasizes the importance of using local resources in extension work? Okay, so we have studied different principles of extension, right? So the options given here are principle of evaluation, principle of satisfaction, principle of adaptability in teaching methods, and principle of use of local resources. So here, actually, while seeing the options like question, you will be able to understand which is used for the importance of using local resources in extension work, and the answer given is correctly principle of use local resources. But if my memory is correct, then this question has undergone some issue lately, because as such the principle of use of local resources is not mentioned in any of the textbooks. So if in case in the next question, if it is asking without this option, you can go for the principle of adaptability in teaching method as the second option. Okay, so because the exact the terms as not given in any of the textbooks, because in the principle of adaptability in teaching methods also, we will be considering the local resources and then only using the teaching methods. Okay, so relatively in these options, the option given by the NTA was principle of use of local resources, and if in case it is not there, you can go for the other option. Okay, and the other options, principle of satisfaction, which means that after the adopting the practices, the farmer should get the satisfaction. Okay, after the extension work, the farmer should get the satisfaction. And principle of evaluation also, the people should be able to understand what will be the pros and cons of the technology, like that. So in this this last option, principle of use of local resources, is the given answer. Okay.
Another easy question, that is a match the following of different utilities, that is home utility, place utility, time utility, and possession utility, and how actually these utilities are derived. So home utility is nothing but the utility derived by virtue of the shape or the form of the product, right? So how actually the form of the product is changed? It's through the processing function, right? When the coffee beans are converted to coffee powders, when the cocoa is converted to chocolate, the form utility is created through the processing function. So therefore can be connected with A can be connected with the second one. Then what is place utility? Utility created by the transportation or due to the change in the location. When the apple is getting transported from the northern states of India to the southern states of India, it's getting more utility, right? So it's actually comes through the transportation function. So therefore B can be connected with the fourth option. Then the third one is time utility. When the on-season crop produce is made available during the off-season, it is getting additional utility because it is not produced at that point of time. So therefore it is actually made possible through the function of storage or through the warehousing. So therefore C can be connected with the storage function, that is one. And D, that is possession utility. Possession utility is created by the process of buying and selling or through the transfer of ownership. So therefore here, yes, the marketing function is the reason for the possession utility, which is why through which the buying and selling is actually happening. So therefore D can be connected with the third option. So therefore 2, 4, 1 and 3. C will be the correct answer here. C will be the correct answer.
So the next question is regarding the communicator is sharing together and is for. Okay, so this is actually implying the meaning of communication. Okay, communicator is sharing together and is for what? Commonness, empathy, differences, and popularity. Communicator is the source in the communication process, right? So they will be sharing the information. So what will happen when you share the information? Okay, so first one is commonness. Commonness, I think if you are remembering the definition of communication by Liggins, it says that the sending and receiving of opinion, ideas between two parties, and then leading to a common understanding to of a meaning. So that commonness is implied here. Okay, so that one is related to the communication. Second one is apathy. Apathy means the lack of enthusiasm or interest or not. Definitely in the process of communication, apathy is not the result, right? And in the differences, when you share information between the two people, rather than the difference, a common understanding should be there. So difference is not an option. And popularity also, it's not related with the communication theory. Okay, so here the answer is coming as commonness. Communicator is sharing together and is for achieving a commonness between the two parties. Okay, the question is, arrange the following historical events related to extension service in the United States of America in the order of their occurrence from the earliest to the latest. Okay, so in our extension, the first chapter has a portion that says the extension systems of different countries, including India. Okay, so here they asked about the United States of America, and then the first option is the Moral Act that established land grant universities. So the Moral Act has started in 1862. So as a result of the Moral Act, land grant universities came into action. Okay, and the second one is the Hatch Act that established agricultural experimental station. So Hatch Act started in 1887. So the Hatch Act is the second one after Moral Act. It after the Moral Act, Hatch Act came and it established agricultural experimental station across the country. And then third one is Dr. Seaman Enna set up a demonstration that became a key technique for extension work. So this might be a tricky question for you. Actually, in we have studied that result demonstration done by Walter C. Polder like that, right? So actually, that result demonstration was conducted by Dr. Seaman Enna in the field of water supporter. Okay, so the answer is 902. Okay, 9 in 1902, Dr. Seema Naik Knapp set up a demonstration, that is result demonstration. Okay, so he has started the result demonstration that later became a key technique in our extension work. So 1902 is the year where he has conducted a result demonstration. And the last option is the Smith-Lever Act that established the National Cooperative Extension System. So Smith-Lever Act has started in 1914. Okay, so this is the order in the earliest to the latest if we are arranging. The first one is the Moral Act, option A. Second one is the Hatch Act in 1887. And third one is 1902, the result demonstration. And last one is the Smith-Lever Act. So the option will be A, B, C, D, option A. Next question. Which statement reflects the philosophy of extension education according to Ensminger? So this is also a little difficult because I'm sure that you may not be in when you say the philosophy of extension education, what you will remember is the definition of Kelsey and Herney, right? Extension means it's not about what to teach, but how to teach. So that is the general philosophy that we studied. So here they asked a statement about the given by the Ensminger. So Ensminger, what he told in the definition of extension, he told extension is educational process. Extension is education. That is the statement given by Ensminger. So if you keep that in mind, then you will be able to understand these definitions. Okay, these statements. The first one, extension is solely an informational transfer process. So it says, first statement says that extension is can be used only for transferring of the technology. Is that it? No. Earlier, actually, initially extension started as a transfer of technology purpose, but later it has many other dimensions, including capacity development, enabling innovation like that. So extension is not solely for informational transfer of process. Okay, so this statement is wrong. And second one, extension aims to transform individuals by changing their knowledge, attitude, and skill. If you know the definition of education, literally it says the same, to make a desirable change in their knowledge, attitude, and skill like that. So this statement can becomes under the statement of Ensminger. Okay, next one, extension focuses on self-help and cooperative effort. Obviously, through educating the farmers in the extension process, they will be we are helping them to help themselves. Okay, self-help and a cooperative effort, also in work in a cooperative manner. That this statement also can be coming under the philosophy of extension. And third, last one, extension is a continuous process. So as he said, extension is an educational process. We know education is a like continuous and lifelong process, right? So in that sense, this statement also can be considered. So if you are understanding the definition of Ensminger as extension as an educational process, then these three statements can be considered under the philosophy of extension education. Okay, so B, C, and D, option fourth one, that is the answer of this.
Which one of the following is a stock resource or a factor of production? So whenever you are coming up across such a kind of question, what you should understand what is the difference between a flow resource as well as what is a stock resource. So anything which you can value or anything which you can quantify based on the time period, then that can be considered as a flow resource. And those things you have to measure at a particular point of time, that has to be considered as a stock resource. This is actually the simplest way to understand what is actually a flow resource and a stock resource. So if you are seeing how many labors are there in a production program, then the working capital, then entrepreneurship, everything are can be considered as a flow resource, and the only thing here is nothing but a stock resource, is nothing but the land. Okay, so you would be considered like, okay, maybe there are some questions in your question answer sessions, you would have been coming across a question that which is the example for both stock and flow resource. Nothing but land only. Okay, but in the case of short run period, land can be considered as a stock resource. But in a long run period, when we can adjust the production program, we can consider land as a flow resource. So therefore here, labor, working capital, as well as entrepreneurship can be considered as a flow resource, and land is the only stock resource here. So here, for 60th question, the answer would be the land. So that's all about today's session. So we have, as far we have discussed 60 questions of the previous year question paper of 2024. So feel free to comment down how the content is helping you to prepare for the examination. And if you are really interested to discuss the rest of the 60 questions, please feel free to comment down in the comment section. And also, we will be providing a Google form link in the description section, wherein, like, if you are really interested to go for the entire details of the discussed questions, you will be getting a PDF of it. So if you are interested in it, just fill the Google form in the description section, and so that if you are interested in it, we will be continuing this video section as a second part in the upcoming days. Thank you.